Hello, hello.
Hello? 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 Check. 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 Check.
The guests are arriving, so I kindly request everyone to please rise up to receive our guests. Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. Respected our special guest, Professor Darlando Katim, Pro-Chancellor, Northeast Christian University, Nagaland, and Professor Daisy Bora Talukdar, Department of Education, Dibrugarh University, SM. We warmly welcome you. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. D. Nanadurai, Registrar, Dr. Robert Xavier, Controller of Examination, Dr. S. Thiagarajan, Dean of Social Science and Management, Dr. Vasagan, Dean of Science, Professor Gauri, Dean of Student Affairs, Professor Charles, Deputy Registrar, Reverend Sister Tinus, Finance Controller, Sister Chinamal, IQAC Director, Dr. Kinitoli Yepto, representatives of DMI and MMI, Head of Departments, Faculties, Research Scholars, and my dear students. My name is Ms. Livikali Yepto, Assistant Professor from the Department of Management, and I will be your moderator for the inaugural session. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the St. Joseph University Third International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research and Innovation on the theme Sustainable Development Goals, SDG 2030, organized by IQAC SJU. This conference serves as a platform for researchers, academicians, and students to share insights and innovative ideas that contribute towards sustainable and inclusive future. To begin this special occasion on a graceful note, may I now invite Reverend Dr. Father Anish, Public Relations Officer, to kindly lead us in invocation.
Dear friends, let us bow our heads in prayer. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Creator and Sustainer of all that is good, we come before you this day with grateful hearts, thanking for the gift of life, wisdom, and fellowship. We especially thank you for this occasion, the third international conference organized by the IQAC of St. Joseph University, Nagaland, and for bringing together minds and hearts from near and far to reflect upon the theme Sustainable Development Goals. Lord, you have entrusted us with the care of your creation and the well-being of all the people. As we begin this conference, we seek your presence among us to enlighten our thoughts, guide our discussions, and inspire us to work for your word rooted in justice, peace, and sustainability. Bless every speaker, participants, and organizer gathered here. May the knowledge shared and the ideas exchanged contribute towards building a future that harnesses both humanity and creation. We pray in a special way for the inaugural speaker, Professor Darlando Kating, Pro Chancellor of NECU, granting him wisdom and grace as he addresses us. Make his words enlighten us our mind and stir in us a deeper sense of purpose and responsibility in the mission of education and sustainable development. Loving Father, let this gathering be filled with your spirit of unity and understanding. May all our effort today, in the days ahead, bring glory to your holy name and blessing to the community we serve. We make this prayer to Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Let us now rise for the SJU anthem to be presented by the SJU Music Club. Thank you, SJU Music Club. Now, to officially welcome our guest and introduce us about the conference, I request our IQAC Director, Dr. Kinitoli, to deliver the welcome address.
Good morning, everyone. Respected special guest, Professor Dalando Kating, Pro-Chancellor, Northeast Christian University, Dimapur, our Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Dean Anadurai, the four keynote speakers for the technical session, Professor Desi Bora Talukdar, Department of Education, Dibrugarh University, Dr. Nargiza Nuraliva, Dean at Bochin University at Uzbekistan, Professor Amalesh Bawal, Department of Commerce, Assam University, Diffu Campus, and Dr. Akhilesh Kumar Verma, Assistant Professor from Cotton University, Assam. Some of them will be joining us today, some of them are already here, some will be joining later on, and some tomorrow. All the higher officials of St. Joseph University, the HODs of various departments, members of faculty, paper presenters, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to St. Joseph Third International Conference, ICMRI 2025. We are honored to have such a distinguished group of intellectuals, dignitaries, members of faculty, scholars, and students joining us from around the globe. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for giving us this beautiful day. We're indebted to our Vice-Chancellor, Dr. Dean Anadurai, who, despite of busy schedule, has always been guiding us and has paved the way to organize this very international conference. We welcome you, sir. Your presence always lighten up our spirit. Can we kindly welcome, sir, with a round of applause. We're extremely proud to have Professor Dalando Kating in our midst today. Professor Kating holds many feathers on his cap, but to name few, Sir is a distinguished nuclear scientist, a retired professor of physics from Northeastern Hill University. He served as the first Vice-Chancellor of Central University of Jharkhand. He was awarded Jawaharlal Nehru Memorial Trust Fellowship, working at the Atomic Energy Research Establishment at Oxfordshire, UK. His research in nuclear physics conducted at Baba Atomic Research Center, Trombay, and facilities in Kolkata, Delhi, and Germany has resulted in over 70 publications in international journals. He is a life member of numerous scientific societies, including the Indian Physics Association and the International Society of Radiation Physics. He continues to inspire through his commitment to educate and innovate as the Pro-Chancellor of Northeast Christian University, Dimapur. Sir, it is a privilege for us to have you here in our university as we take a step forward in exploring in the field of research and innovation. Can we kindly put a round of applause for us, sir, in welcoming him? A special appreciation goes to our technical speakers. Each of them are highly profiled, and if I continue to read all this, time will not permit me, so I will shorten it and I will just name a few. On that note, I would like to introduce Professor Desi Bora Talukdar. She has several administrative experience. She has served as a reader, director of women's studies, dean, faculty of education, and head of Department of Education at Dibrugarh University, Assam. We also have Dr. Nargiza Nuraliva, who will be joining us online. She is an associate professor and a dean at Buchan University, Uzbekistan. She has several publications and has been awarded ICCR and SCR scholarship. She has taught rigorous graduate level courses at large universities and earned high approval rating from students during the past years. We also have Professor Amalesh Bawal. She will be joining us in a short while. He has served as the founder head of the Department of Commerce in Assam University in Dipu campus. He has also rendered voluntary service in various administrative capacities, including in charge of examination, library, accounts and finance, IQAC, and also as Vice Chancellor of Assam University at Difu campus. He is a member of various professional bodies and is currently serving as a president in Northeast Commerce and Management Association. He is a holder of 2 Indian patents and 1 UK patent in the field of behavioral finance. We will also have Dr. Akhilesh tomorrow. He is recognized among the top 2% scientists in the world as per the list published by Stanford University and Elsevier in 2025. He has numerous publications and 10 patents. He was awarded ISCA Young Scientist Award, Indo-US Exchange Fellowship Award, Governor Excellent Award for the year 2020 for Best Publication. Sir serves as an assistant professor at Cotton University, Assam. I, on behalf of the Managing Committee of our institution and the conference organizing committee, would like to extend a warm welcome to all our distinguished speakers. Kindly put your hands together in welcoming them. We're really grateful to our registrar, Dr. A. Robert Xavier, our controller of examination, Dr. S. Thiagarajan, our deputy registrar, Sister D. Tines Mary, our finance controller, Sister Chanama, the deans, PRO, Father Dr. L. Anish, campus manager, Father Arokia Cherian, the BMI and MMI family, for always being there for the various needs of the organizing team. We warmly welcome you, dear fathers, sisters, sirs, and ma'am. A round of applause, please. I feel the honor to welcome all the participants and the presenters for taking a keen part in this important program. I believe each of us will learn and grow academically through this conference. I welcome you, and kindly put your hands together to welcome yourself. I would like to acknowledge the conference co-conveners and organizing committee members who have worked hard to bring this conference to you. The meticulous planning, the wholesome engagement in arranging, providing resources, ready to sacrifice the time for this event at any point of time, against all the odds, fighting to reach this stage was because of their dedication. Dear team members, wherever you are, you always occupy a very special place. You are the source of inspiration, motivating factor that anything and everything is possible. You are the epitome of resilience, and I can never ask for a better team than you. Kindly join in appreciating and welcoming the team members with a round of applause. We welcome you, dear students. Your dedication and your relentless effort in volunteering in all the areas possible. I should say, we are blessed to have you together in this journey. A very big thank you, and I would like to warmly welcome you for these 2 days of the event. The conference under the theme Sustainable Development Goals SDG 2030 will focus on creating awareness and in understanding how each of us can contribute in building a peaceful and prosperous world for all. This conference aims to provide a global platform for academicians, researchers, Industry experts, the policy makers, and students from diverse disciplines to exchange ideas, present their research findings, and collaborative learning. It seeks to promote innovative driven research and encourage the participants to explore new perspectives across multiple areas of science and technology, as well as in the field of social science. We had received numerous papers for this presentation, but after the scrutiny, 113 papers will be presented in this conference. I am sure after listening to all those findings and research from these 113 papers, we will feel enriched with knowledge. And I would like to welcome each and every one of you once again to this international conference and hope that everyone will have a great time ahead. Have a wonderful day and thank you very much. I would also like to request our visitor and our professor, Dr. Katin, on the stage. Thank you very much, sirs. I would also like to request sister and ma'am on the stage. Very much, sister and ma'am. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm words of welcome and of introducing us to the theme of the conference. Next, we will have the presidential address by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Dina Nadurai. I would request her to kindly remain on the stage after your speech as we will release the souvenir.
Good morning. Today's special guest, Professor Orlando Keating, Pro-Chancellor, NCU, Nagaland, and other technical expert and speakers, higher functionaries of university, fathers and sisters, faculty members, students, and participants. A very good morning to you all. I'm really very happy to stand before you in the inaugural function of 3rd ICMRI conference. Here the theme is very attractive and it is very meaningful, and also it is very apt for the current situation, sustainable development goals. I don't know how many of you realize the exact meaning of sustainable developments. Actually, these sustainable developments is having 3 pillars. One is economic growth, social progress, and environmental growth. These 3 things should be taken care of. Then only the growth or the development will be sustainable. See, 30, 50 years back, many revolutions were there. Green revolution, industrial revolution, white revolution. So many revolutions were there. But what is the impact of that revolution on the environmental is a notable one. For example, the industrial revolution polluted the air, water, and soil. Similarly, the Green Revolution, which used the fertilizer, also again spoiled the soil. Then the White Revolution, milk. Then the content of the milk becomes chemical. Because one time I used to visit a dairy industry in Tamil Nadu. A single cow at one time it gives 150-liter milk. You think, is it possible? But it is possible because of the many medical process. You see the quality of the milk. Even mankind cannot get the milk. They are having a pumping motor. They are attaching it. Then it is just sucking, and within 5 to 10 minutes, 150-liter milk will be sucked from the cow. It is a revolution, but what is the quality of the food? It is the question mark. So the people realized all the revolutions spoiled the entire environment, because a growth should not spoil the environment, the nature. That is the real sustainable development. That is why instead of development, now we are going towards sustainable development, so that the development without affecting the nature, very particularly the water, soil, and the air. That is the meaning of sustainable development. And also the social progress. The development should create peacefulness among the people in the country, peacefulness among the countries in the world. But nowadays you think, are we peaceful? Or all the countries are peaceful without any war? Nowadays we are hearing so many wars against countries to country. So the sustainable development should also take care of the social progress without affecting the peacefulness of the people. That is very important. Then the third one is the economical growth. That is also very important. See, economical growth in the sense, not increasing the industries, not increasing the products. It is just a nature-friendly economical growth. Nowadays we are using the word green economical growth or eco-economical growth. This economical growth should be a self-sustained one. All the countries now realize or understand their economical growth should not depend upon other countries. Because of the superpower, America, their rules and regulation. Very particularly in India, 80% people are, that is the NRIs in America, 80% are Indians. Now you know what is the issue is going on. They are increasing the visa price, 8 lakhs to 80 lakhs. So the survival of our own citizens in other countries are questionable. The reason is our economical growth is not self-reliant. It is depending upon something else. Previously, the tax levied by the superpower country is 25%. Now they levied 100%. So that many industries who are exporting their products to US, they are getting affected. Now I think whether you might have heard about now or not, again from November 1, the superpower country is going to increase the tax 150% for the country of China. They are having the plan. So from these all the happenings, we should understand our country economics should be self-reliance. We should produce our own foods. We should produce our own needs. We should not depend upon others. We should not import anything from other countries. We can import, but it should not have major impacts on our economy. That is very important. That is why this time our Honorable Prime Minister announced you buy always Indian products. And also a survey is telling that if all the people in India, if they are buying our Indian products, avoiding the other products, then we will become a superpower in within 6 months. Because the India and China is a more consumable consumers markets. So all the product the other countries are selling in our country, so we are buying. We are attracted because of the low cost and sometimes even the quality also. So the other countries are using our own place as a markets. So our economy, our money will be going to the other countries. But this time, due to the announcement of our Honorable Prime Minister, many people that is adopted that one, so that there is a statistics now. This time during Diwali, our products selling is increased 25%. You go and visit the YouTubes. It is the impact. That means our own money is circulating in our own country, our own states. It is not going to other states or other countries just by buying the other country products. So my dear participants and students, because you are the youngsters, you are the pillars of future, you think always self-reliant economy, the first thing. And always think about the preservation of environments. If we are good in economic, but if our air is polluted, if our river waters are polluted, what we can do? Then the living in the earth is a questionable. So you think about self-reliant economy and also the preservation of environment. These two things are very, very important. So these type of conference research papers are very important. Whenever you are doing research, don't confine yourself with just publishing your paper or presenting your paper. Think about how it is useful for the society, how you can make it as a patent. Once, if you make it as a patent, how it will be converted as a consumer product so that it is very useful for our own country as our own products. So it will create a self-reliant economy. So whenever you are doing this type of research in any field, social science or science, whatever it may be, or engineering, whatever it may be, always think about what is the outcome of the research, how it is helpful for the local society, how we can make it as a pattern in one step more as a consumer product. So in this context, I would like to again reiterate the self-reliant economic, and I will tell one more thing. Whenever you are buying anything from any shop, you analyze whether it is the Indian product or other country product. Avoid purchasing the other country product, because I don't want to tell the name of the product. A simple cool drink and a toothpaste make some countries as most powerful. We are buying that one. Just think about that one. It is the responsibility of the youngsters. You can create a self-reliant economy in India. Finally, I would like to thank all the organizers of this conference. And before concluding my speech, I would like a simple word: be a good Indian. Be always Indian goods. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of encouragement. Now it is a very special moment. It is time for the release of the souvenir. I would request the members to kindly come and join us on stage to do the honor. Vice Chancellor, our special guest, Professor Darlindo Kating, along with Professor Daisy Bora, our Registrar, Deans, Controller of Examiner, Deputy Registrar, Finance Controller, Public Relation Officers, along with the Souvenir Committee, please join us on stage for the official release of the souvenir. I request the Vice Chancellor to unpack the souvenir and hand it over to the special guest, Professor Darlindo Kating, for the official release. A big congratulations to the entire team for the official release of the souvenir. Now we will have the inaugural address by Professor Darlando Kating, Pro-Chancellor, Northeast Christian University.
Esteemed Vice Chancellor of St.Joseph's University, Dr. Gnana Dorai, the Director of IQAC, who's the main organizer of this conference, Dr. Kinitori, our distinguished speakers, both in sessions and elsewhere, our respected faculty members, guests, ladies and gentlemen, our own moderator here, Libitoli, our students, good morning and God bless you. I thank God for this wonderful privilege to be here to share some thoughts, especially among the galaxy of experts that you could get together here under one roof for this particular occasion. I congratulate the Quality IQAC for having organized this. This is the third edition, so I believe. And this time, you know, what we heard just now, they have as many as 113 papers. That's huge. In most conferences, you don't have that many. In fact, we have problems of trying to organize the time scale, the timetable itself, because there are too many. There are a lot of parallel sessions I've seen that you are going to have. And that indicates the interest, the amount of interest. The field is vast. The field is very vast. Because the field is on the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals. It's not just on a particular topic. It's not just on my topic on physics and a particular area of physics. No. It's across human life itself. And not just humanity, but even ecology, talking of climate change, talking of the planet itself. The director has spelled out the aims and objectives of this conference. It's also listed in your pamphlet. Now, I'd just like to recall for some of you, how this came about. It was SJU, because it's okay to talk about we're having a lot of things we need to be interested in people and the planet and the environment, climate change. But this was, a resolution that was made in 2015 by member states of the United Nations across the world, where they felt concerned about how things were going on and the status of the world itself. And they said, no, unless we get together, both the developing and the developed countries, because each affect each other. It's not that I am comfortable in my developed country environment, and something that happens in an undeveloped country, it doesn't affect me. It does. It does very much. Now they're realizing that. And that's why they reach out to the developing countries to try and bring them up, because unless you bring them up, they'll get adversely affected themselves. And so it was a resolution that was made there. And so they gave a target of 15 years. By 2030, we'd like to achieve these ones. And there, actually 17 goals were envisaged. They're listed there. You can Google on these sustainable goals, you'll find it's 17. It's from social factors, as mentioned earlier, on quality, on gender, on climate, on peace, a whole lot of them. There's 17. And I'd like to share with you what is reported as a status as of 2025, this year itself, on these SDGs. In July 2025, the status report was presented in the United Nations. And there, it is found that, yes, there have been development in many areas, but there's still a huge amount of unfinished work. And unless people get together, as per the words of the Secretary General of the United Nations, he said we need to go into overdrive to be able to work really hard and focus and effectively, sincerely, to be able to achieve these stated goals by 2030. That was the thing. Now, in this report, what also happened is they identified 6 priority areas. Okay, because in your thing you've listed about 10 or so. Now 6 priority areas, which I'd like you to keep in mind when you're having these discussions in the conference, because these are the ones that have been shared in the United Nations in July this year itself. The 6 priority areas. I'll just read them out. So you can. The report calls for action in 6 priority areas: food systems, energy access, digital transformation, education, jobs and social protection, and climate and biodiversity. These areas. So these are the 6 areas now identified as priority areas. And the reports shows that yes, it is possible to work together, and it is possible to make these goals into reality by 2030. So here in this conference, this is what we aim to do, to be part of that partnership across the world, to look at these goals and see how best we can work together. And that's why when we talk of these goals, it's not just specialized goals in a particular field, it's across. And that's why, I'm so happy that you could get together people from different disciplines, from basic science to life science, from engineering to social workers, from humanities, even perhaps the medical practitioners, all have come together because we're talking of all aspects of life itself. And so it is hoped that here, during this conference, it not just be that you've read your paper and that's it, but you interact with each other and see how best you can find common points to move forward in. And then you come up with an action paper, an action plan That's what is important. In any conference, that's what important. Many conferences you miss out on this. The final recommendations at the end of the day. And then who will be responsible to carry it out? Yes, you formed a panel discussion at the end of the day, you discuss, and that's it, that's a report. But who will be responsible to implement or to initiate or to follow up? That also needs to be identified. So I would hope that this conference will do that as well. Then, you'll have something substantive coming out from this conference. So now, where does it leave us? How do you go about it? That's why, as I said, it's such a vast thing, it's difficult for me to focus on anything, but I'm going to share on a general approach, perhaps how one can move forward when we're trying to address these goals. One way is to keep a very open mind. You broaden your mind, your approach. Keep an open mind. Be ready to accept somebody else's point of view. Be ready to associate with some other disciplines. Don't stick to your own hi-fi specializations. Touch somebody else, interact with them. That's the whole purpose of this conference. Cross-discipline. It's necessary cross-discipline, multicultural. So keep an open mind. When you keep an open mind, there's no limits to what you can do. See, my own field is, as ma'am mentioned, is nuclear physics. And also experimental nuclear physics. It's not sitting in the library and that's it. You have to actually do things with your hands. So in my own field, for my own research work, specialized research work, so-called specialized research work, I did most of the work in Trombay, in Bhabha Atomic Research Center. Some was done even IIT Kanpur, then the Variable Energy Cyclotron Center in Calcutta, the Nuclear Science Center in Delhi, and then many of samples we sent to Germany, where our colleagues were there for high energy beam bombardment. So this is what we did. We had to seek facilities elsewhere because I joined NEHO as my first posting as a faculty there, and then in the Northeast we don't have very large nuclear facilities. See, so that's why we had to set up a small lab initially. But most of the time I had to go out. My students had to go out. My colleagues had to go out to different places. So that's how we did. But when I was there itself, my first international publication was with a colleague from chemistry. While establishing my own lab, the physics lab, I interacted with my chemistry colleagues. And there we did some simple analysis from my little knowledge of elemental analysis and such. What we did was, that time in Meghalaya you have a thermal power station which produces, you have heard of hydel power station, but you also have thermal. We use some coal, you produce power. It is in Garo Hills. So we analyzed the flue dust. The dust, after you burn the coal, you collect that dust and then you analyze that one. We analyzed for silicon in that. Because we had read papers work on such work, and we found that the concentration of the silicon in the Meghalaya coal from this thermal power station was as much as the ones that were reported in Russia. And Russia, what they did, they collected this flue dust, and they extracted silicon and used it for their semiconductor industry. Here we report the same thing, but it just remained, that's it. We published internationally as well and reported to the concerned areas, but it just remained like that. Meghalaya is very rich in coal, and so we also analyzed for titanium in coal. Okay? And through our analysis, the GSI found very rich deposits of coal hills and such in Meghalaya, in the Giant Hills area. So from your normal so-called nuclear physics and such, you can do anything. Since I was based in Shillong, around Shillong you have two streams flowing around it. They flow through all sorts of residential areas, workshops and garages, slaughterhouses, all sorts of, and they finally come to Barapani Lake. And that's the way we did the water quality analysis for those streams, right from the source and down we did. And did that. I also reported, and we found, and we gave reasons for why some things were high or low, and that's what we did. We analyzed for the water quality of Watts Lake. In the in Shillong, in center of Shillong town, there's a lake, a beautiful lake called Watts Lake. Okay, there's a printing press nearby where we fear that lead from the printing press will be flowing into the lake and possibly cause some adverse effects. So we analyze for the water quality there, particularly for lead. So you just have to look around and you see, even for tap water, now you get PHE water, supply water through the government. We analyze for water quality that goes through the houses in Shillong, the tap waters. You see, and we found some places where they were quite disturbing and we had to report them. In fact, right from the source itself, where the tanks are, we found they were not also very well maintained. Because of, in Meghalaya, you have large deposits of uranium. You might have heard about it. One of the largest deposits of uranium is at Meghalaya. And the Department of Atomic Energy, they wanted to extract this uranium for their own use, but there's been a big public outcry against it. And so till today, it's not been allowed, but it's used. But we did analysis there. One was we did a baseline survey of that whole area. It took us 3 years. We had a team of physicists, chemists, zoologists, botanists, sociology people, all together working on that. You have to try different aspects of what we call the baseline survey of that. So those are there. You want to kind of look at even here. Okay, I have this area. How about doing that? And these are social based work that you do. Because of radiation there in Meghalaya, people are scared about radiation. We took part in a national survey for about 3 years on the radioactive content of houses in Meghalaya, especially around Shillong. We did air quality, that's particulate, which you hear when you look at Delhi and Calcutta thing, if you talk about suspended particles thing. We did that for Shillong, because at that one time, the national highway went right through the city itself. All the trucks, heavy vehicles, all vehicles going to Silchar, to Mizoram, to Tripura, went through the city of Shillong. Now they have a bypass that goes around, so the heavy vehicles now don't go through. But at that time, they went through that. So we did air suspended particulate analysis for 2 years at different spots, different heights, knee height, chest height, breathing height, this type of thing. We did this type of analysis and gave that report. In fact, one of the scholars there earned a PhD through part of that results also. So, as I said, there's no end to what one can do. If you want to do, say, community-based work, because we're talking of now community-based areas for people, for mankind, for the well-being of others. One way of doing that is to speak to villages. We have lots of villages here, and in the Northeast, we're very rich in tradition, culture, and biodiversity. We're rich in those, very rich. So if we do some work there, people from across the country, across the world, they'll come here seeking our help or support, our collaboration. We didn't go out and seek theirs. They will come here. And community-based, if you speak to a villager, you find plant-based treatment. Try and find out the ingredients there. Try to find out what is the component there that's effective. So you can go for the local diet. We enjoy a different type of local diet. What is the nutrient content in those diets? What about the insects that we eat? We are fond of eating insects, lovely insects, very tasty. But what is the actual nutrition value there? People have done it, but how about we also doing something of our own things we produce here? Even now, there's a group called timekeepers in the remote areas. They're still there. I met a few just 2 weeks ago in the Burma border side. There are timekeepers in the village who would look at the hills and they look at the shadows of the sun, and from there they'll advise a village on when to grow what and what to do when. They're known as timekeepers. And this is not just like it goes by, it passes down from father to son according to a certain plan, not just passed to anyone. So I can't just go there and learn, which I can do as perhaps an academician. I can try and learn how do you do this and learn it. But they have their own people who do that. So these are there even now. They're doing that, and they're so accurate in doing this type of work. In Shillong itself, I missed one very potentially interesting research because I was busy with my own other things. But in Cherrapunji area, I don't know how many of you have gone to Cherrapunji, the wettest place at one time, the wettest place in the world. There you go there, you have lovely falls, beautiful falls. Okay, behind it, there's a lot of villages, steep cliffs are there. Okay? Now, one of the villagers from there I happened to meet somewhere, and he told me about this phenomenon of every summer, worms, these wiggly little worms from the rivers, they climb up, they crawl up the hill, almost 100,000 feet to 1,500 feet, they climb up, and they'll breed up there. Okay, and then just before the winter, they'll come down again and come back to the river. And when they come down, they're so thick, almost 2 inches thick of carpet along the ruts, the streams at that time. And on the way, you'll have frogs waiting there also. It's part of ecology. The frogs are waiting there. The frogs also know that they're going to get a food there. They're waiting along there, almost like ambushing them and then eating this as well. But what is more interesting, which I miss, is that when they reach the river down there, these worms, they intermingle and they intertwine and they form a ball. They form a big ball. And then we asked, why should they be doing that? I mean, what's the reason? He said, no, when they get into the river, they fall into the river, they're big and the fish will not be able to swallow them. The mouth will be not big enough to swallow it. See, the natural ways of things. And only when they go right in and then they might spread out the side, but that's the way. I tried to get my zoology colleagues interested in that because I was busy, but somehow that didn't work out. And then finally, when I did go to that place, I missed the worms had already gone down. I could get some samples. It was interesting that those similar worms were available also here in Science College area of Kohima. So what I'm saying is, if you look around you, there's so much you can do. It's not just looking at going to the library and that's it. I have to find something, like I do a massive literature survey. Look around you, be open, and be ready and to go around to take part. That's what I advise here and share with you on this. Now, because here, even for medical practitioners, they have the opportunity to collect data from the patients or of the patients on a host of things. By just having a questionnaire and asking them some keep that, it can have tremendous data. And from that, they can use that later on for policy purposes. Okay. Now, if others from counseling, from psychology, from others come and join with them, you can add different perspectives to what you are going ahead in. This is what you can do. Now we know about snails. People like snails here. But we also know that the snails here, I'm talking Dimapur area, okay, the ones that come from towards Jalukya side, they are better, they're cleaner. But the ones that come more this side, they're not so healthy. And some report has been there by some medical people, some scientists in fact, based in Kohima, who have found reasons for certain sicknesses because of eating those snails from these areas here. In fact, some here in Dimapur, you can see from almost the local drains, they're picking up the snails and selling. So what is awareness again we talked about, but reporting, doing some work solid and reporting in a very systematic scientific way. That's what is required. Not just we just know about, that's it. Okay, it is reported that smoked meat can cause cancer. How far is it true? There are reports on it, but how about working here? Because smoked meat is very, very popular here. So these are, because we know about chewing tobacco and oral cancer, these are very common. But what about work here in this region? In Mizoram, yes, there's a lot of work there, but about other places. So, you can go on and on in these areas. Just about 2 months ago, there was a workshop in Kohima organized by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare on research methodology for medical practitioners. And they had delegates from Manipur, Mizoram, and Nagaland participating there. And that's where the health ministry people advise these local protectionists that please, how about doing this? And we'll give you the support, we'll give you the money for that. That's what they assured also. I happen to be one of the speakers there, so that's how I came to know about it. Now, once you've identified an area, then what? How do you go about it? Sometimes, if you're largely science-based, or you need a lot of analytical equipment for analyzing those components or parameters, you might need equipment, scientific equipment, which are not necessarily easily available. So one needs to look around within the region itself, outside the region. See, for example, for what you call sophisticated instrumentation techniques, there's a center in Shillong, in Nehu, called the Sophisticated Analytical Instrumentation Facility. Earlier, it was called the Regional Sophisticated Instrumentation Center, RSIC. I happened to head that center for 15 years, from 1985 to 2000. That is a center established by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, where they house very sophisticated, high-quality equipment under one roof and through it open the region. And so out there, I had the opportunity then to interact with scientists across the region because we encourage them to come. We encourage them to send samples, and we analyze the samples for them and send them back the results. There will be a nominal fee, very subsidized fee. This is that still is going on there in Nehu. Okay, so that's available. At that time, we had a scanning electron microscope, a transmission electron microscope, mass spectrometer, NMR, FTNMR, IR, FTIR, all these were there. Since that time, since the 1984s, 85s, we had this equipment there. At that time, our people didn't know how to use them. We didn't even know what these were. So we had to have several workshops to tell them, this is what it is, this is what it can do. But now there are even higher versions. But they are there. The universities also have now, most universities, they have equipment, and they're most willing to participate, to collaborate in research work or society-based programs. And then we have to analyze the samples together. There are central organizations as well, whether in Jorhat and Guwahati, elsewhere in Northeast and across the country. So these are there for analytical equipment. Then what about funding? Funding is also there. Funding, you have central agencies. You have the Department of Science and Technology, Department of Atomic Energy. The UGC also has, but the funds are limited now. Then CSIR. Then you have your own humanities, the historical ICSR, ICHR, ICPR, all these. You have ONGC, Oil India, Coal India. You have also private foundations and trusts who have funds. Then of course ministries are also there who also give some support. So these are available. So, but if you work together, you can find out. If you stick to yourself, you might be find out so much, but work together. Okay? So in closing, I'll just encourage you again, please try and get together and try to work out on some action plan, because the role is tremendous, the field is huge, and there is opportunity, there are facilities, there are funds for doing this. It's not that, oh, what I can't do. No, no such thing. You can. Start with small things. Don't aim for too big things. Start with small things. Once you start with small things, the potential sponsor will look at what your record is like, and they'll give you double, triple of what you've done. There's no problem at all in that. Okay. So my wish is for this conference to come out with some tangible action plan. I wish all of you a very fruitful interaction and conference, And once again, I congratulate the university for holding this. And I pray God will guide and lead you, grant us wisdom. And especially here, your motto is be human, because SJU is to do with being human. Being human, not being human, being humane. That's what it is. That's how then you go forward. Yeah. So all the best and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your enlightening thoughts and valuable insights about the conference. As we have come to the close and end of the inaugural session, I would like to invite Dr. Nauram Nishikanta Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of JMC, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. It is indeed my privilege and pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the organizing committee and the university at the inaugural session of the third International Conference on Multidisciplinary Research and Innovation on the theme Sustainable Development Goals 2030. First and foremost, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our Chancellor, Dr. J.E. Ras, for his vision and endless support in conducting this conference. We also express our deep appreciation to our distinguished speaker, Professor Orlando Cutting, Pro-Chancellor, Northeast Christian University, Nagaland, for gracing this occasion with your inspiring presence and valuable insights. Your words have truly motivated us to pursue academic excellence and innovation with renewed enthusiasm. Your expertise, clear perspectives, and depth of knowledge have truly enriched our understanding of sustainable development and the responsibility towards acquiring the goals in larger contexts. Sir, your contribution have enriched the deliberations and they broaden our understanding. Thank you, sir. A special thanks to our Vice Chancellor, Dr. D. Nanadurai, whose constant encouragement and vision made this conference possible to organize. We deeply appreciate the time and effort you took to be with us and to contribute so meaningfully to this conference, and especially to rely on the Indian products. Thank you, sir, for your message. Our deep gratitude goes to Professor Desi Bora Talukdar, Dibrugarh University, for her presence and gracing the conference. Thank you, ma'am. We are grateful to our Controller of Examinations, Dr. S. Thiagarajan, for his endless support. Thank you, sir. Our gratitude also extends to our Registrar, Dr. A. Robert Xavier, for his tireless effort in ensuring the smooth conduct of this international event. We acknowledge the support and suggestions extended by the Deputy Registrar, Reverend Sister Dr. Tynes, our Finance Controller, Sister Chinama, PRO, Reverend Father Dr. L. Anis, for his invocation, Father Nathan, and their fathers and sisters of MMI in different positions helping this conference to carry out in a very smooth way. I also take this opportunity to thank our deans, the Dean of Social Science and Management, Professor V.T. Vasagan, Dean of Science, Dr. S.A. Gauri, Dean of Student Affairs, Professor Charles, and the Research Coordinator, Dr. Raja Ganesh. We appreciate our IQAC Director, Dr. Kinitole H. Yepto, for the welcome address and for introducing this international conference. We thank the HODs, the faculty members, delegates, and participants from all over India and abroad, and those who are joining online, and the students for their active engagement and support. Lastly, we acknowledge the support of different committees whose contributions behind the scene have been invaluable. Thank you, the SJU Music Club, the SJU Media Team. Once again, thank you all for being a part of this academic celebration. Let us continue to collaborate, share knowledge, and build bridges across nations and disciplines. Thank you and wish you all a pleasant day.
Thank you, sir. With that, we conclude the International Conference inaugural session. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.